Okay, this video review is of Drew, and Drew, I promise I won't mess up your name anymore after this, so count on that for sure. So Drew, you are on the right, and Jake is on the left, and Jake is a junior Hoover. Been working with Jake for many years now, so we're going to take a look at some things that Jake does and some of the things that Drew does and compare both deliveries and learn a few things from Jake. So let's take a look at both deliveries from full speed. You can see Drew gets going first and then Jake, and they both get out of the screen there. But more importantly, we're going to take a look at each delivery in slow motion, and even frame by frame. So let's go ahead and get both in the balance point. Both Drew and Jake do a good job with the feet and getting into the balance point very efficiently. You can see Jake gets there first. I'm going to stop him. And Drew's balance point is right there. And you notice what might be a little bit different is Jake kind of kicks his foot out and Drew has his foot tucked underneath him, and it's better to just lift the knee and leave that foot relaxed. If we tuck it underneath, it makes it a little bit harder to get in the power position. So notice Jake's knee is just a little bit higher than Drew's, so Drew, you could work on getting that knee just a little bit taller and work on that balance, although I like your balance point at this point. We just want to kind of try to get that knee as high as we can because that's going to help generate the most power heading toward the plate. Notice Jake and Drew, your glove is in the same spot and it's in the center of the body, so that's a good thing. So overall, this is a good example of a very good balance point. Both have your eyes locked on the target, and that's another good thing. So let's take a look at each delivery as we go into the power position, and we see that both Drew and Jake, the hands drop and the knees drop, so timing, that's good. Jake is just driving a little bit more at this point. You can kind of see his back leg is a little bit more angled, and he's starting to create a lot of momentum toward the plate. Drew, you're just a little bit still upright, and that's something that we're going to talk about as we go through the class on how to drive toward the plate and use that back leg really early in the delivery. And this is something that Jake and I have worked on together for a long time to help him throw as hard as he possibly can. So Jake is about 84, 85 with his fastball right now, and a lot of it is because of his lower half and how he explodes toward the plate, which you'll see that here in a second on the video. So let's go into the power position. So we'll get Drew, we'll get you into power position here. That's when your front foot hits the ground, and we want to see a few things here which we'll talk about. And your front foot hits right about there. So you can see that your hand's above the head, which is good. And now we're going to see what Jake looks like into his power position. Looks really similar. And his front foot hits right there. And notice his front glove is about the level of his shoulders. And Drew, your front glove is just a little bit low. So we want to try to get that elbow a little bit taller and get that glove kind of, you're looking down toward the glove as you're throwing toward the plate. And right now that glove is just a little bit low. Notice Jake's body weight's about centered. He is about right here on his body weight. It's about 50-50. Drew, your body weight's just a little bit forward. So you've kind of gotten your weight on your front foot just a little bit, and your arm is still back. So this is something we'll work on to try to keep that weight a little bit more centered. So your lower half is really helping you as you come through and throw. Notice Jake's stride is very, very long, and that's a good thing. So as we work in the class, Drew will kind of work on getting your stride to lengthen out just a little bit. And Jake's direction's very good. Drew, you've opened up your foot a little bit toward first base, so we really want to work on keeping the direction. Your feet basically need to stay in a straight line, although that's not bad at all. But overall, in the power position, Drew, you're pretty good. There's just a couple little things that we're going to work on, some refinement just to help you feel like you're generating a little bit more power in your delivery. So let's get rid of the lines here, and we'll keep working to release point. So Drew, we're going to get you into release point as we come through, and you get right there. That's right where the ball leaves the hand. And let's get Jake into release point, and Jake releases right there. And this is actually very similar. Both of you have very good extension. And Drew, I like how your back knee is straight and your back foot is still connected to the ground. That's a good thing. And the angle that your back is creating is pretty angled. So is Jake. So you guys are very similar there. and I really like this position. This is an example of a long throwing motion, and someone who throws like that is going to be able to generate a lot more velocity. The one difference I notice is that Jake's toe was pointed toward home plate. Drew, your toe is just a little bit turned in toward third base. We can zoom in on that here and take a look. So we really want to get that toe pointed toward the plate. That's going to help your hips open up. And then your glove, I can still see your glove. And you notice you can't see Jake's glove. He's kind of tucked that on the side and out of the way. So your glove looks like it's right in the center of your body. It just might be in the way a little bit as you're coming through and trying to throw. So we want to try to tuck that glove off to the side. But again, that's just a little thing that is easily correctable as we go through and get into the finish position or the follow through. So let's take a look at that. And you can see, you actually can see the palm of your hand. That's called a pronation with your arm. That's very natural and something that a lot of pitchers can't even feel that they do, but that's a natural rotation. We can see Jake's going to do that here in a second. Just gets a little blurry, but you can see, we can both see your elbows and the palm of your hand. So that is a normal motion that we notice after release of the baseball. And then Drew, we see your arm come through deceleration. And notice that glove just kind of hanging out there. We want to get that glove to tuck so it's out of the way of the arm. Notice Jake's glove is tucked, like we said earlier, and his arm can just finish without worrying about running into his glove. And you're going to see him get his foot way up in the air there upon follow through. That's basically as a result of generating and creating a lot of power early in his delivery. Drew, you have a nice follow through too. You don't get your foot quite as high, which is fine. There's no right or wrong way to do it. But I do like the timing of when your foot leaves the ground. So let's get into the finish here. So we see a lot of similar things to Jake, which is good. Jake is an all Federal League pitcher as a sophomore last year and was basically the best pitcher in the Federal League most of the season. And so that's a good person to see a lot of similarities with. And some of the differences we're going to be able to work on. And it's really nice that this video is able to show us some of the things that both of you do well, and some of the things, Drew, that we'll work on throughout the class.